hope for a very speedy recovery. So let me get to the details. Early this morning, around 3:25 a.m., the Bradenton Police Department received a 911 call from an employee at Aspire Living Nursing Home located at 6305 Cortez Road in the city of Bradenton. The employee saw a driver of a vehicle that had just crashed through the front of their building get out of that vehicle and load a handgun. When she saw this, she immediately ran into the back of the building. Another employee, a male employee from the nursing home, approached the suspect and engaged with him. And at that time, this dirtbag, and we'll get to his name here in a few, fired a shot at this employee. Luckily, and also by the grace of God, he was not struck, and he was able to retreat to the back of the building as well and lock the doors behind him. The suspect began to try to enter the building. He could not get in. He went outside to another location, to another door located on the outside of the building, tried to gain entry that way, could not. That door was secured. He then fired around into a window next to this door on the outside of the vehicle. We believe it's at this time that he saw the deputies responding to this location. Bradenton Police Department had contacted us to ascertain if we had any deputies that were close to the scene. We did. We actually had a deputy that was returning home from an off-duty job. He heard this call go out, and he and another deputy responded to the scene, received this information from the employees of the nursing home, and then immediately began to search for the suspect, who is at that time located somewhere outside of the nursing home. Where, they do not know. So they start to actively search for this dirtbag. They locate him on the east side of this building. It's dark. They can't see real well. They can see him. They know he's armed, but they can't see the gun in his hand. They don't know if he still has a weapon. They give him commands to show his hands, to get down. He fails to follow those commands, and this dirtbag decides it's better for him just to start firing at my deputies. We return fire. One of my deputies was struck in his left arm. Once again, luckily he's going to be okay. The suspect then runs from the scene. The deputies at that time are approaching the scene of the shooting, and their main focus now is to make sure that they give proper medical care to the deputy that's been shot. And that's what we do. Officers from the city of Bradenton, Holmes Beach Police Department, Palmetto Police Department all respond to help us set up a perimeter to make sure that we can do everything in our power to capture this suspect. And I want to thank them for responding as quickly as they did. I also want to thank the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office K-9 unit who responded to help track this suspect. At about 3:30 a.m., we located Mr. Calcutti. This is him. If you have not seen him, this is a man that tried to kill one of my deputies. This is a man who tried to kill an innocent civilian inside this nursing home. And this is the man who will hopefully spend a lot of time not only in the Wells Motel, which is the Manatee County Jail, but also in the Department of Corrections. We were able to locate him and take him into custody. He still had the gun on his person, which dropped out of his shorts as we were trying to apprehend him. Why he chose to crash into this nursing home, we do not know. Why he chose to shoot at these innocent civilians, we do not know. We're investigating that now. And why he made the decision to shoot one of my deputies? I can only guess. So we are thankful for the quick actions of the deputies on scene that put a tourniquet around my deputy's arm to stop the bleeding and to drive him to the hospital immediately. So he's being taken care of at a local hospital. The suspect has been taken to a local hospital as well. He was not shot. He was not injured. He will shortly be brought here for interviews to try to give us some explanation of what he was doing and why he would shoot at innocent bystanders in a Manatee County Sheriff's Office deputy. So that's where we're at right now. This dirtbag has an extensive criminal history from not only the state of Florida, but New York as well. We can give that to you at a later date, but he should not, in my opinion, even be walking the streets of Manatee County. How that has happened, I don't know. So that is where we're at right now. We'll continue to update you as we get more information on this suspect, and we will answer any questions that you have at this time.
Sheriff, what was the suspect charged with today?
He will be charged with attempted murder on an LEO, attempted murder on the civilians that were involved in a nursing home, shooting into an occupied dwelling, and also armed burglary.
Sheriff, do we know if this suspect, did he have somebody in the facility? Did he knew somebody that lived there, that worked there? Why was he there?
We don't believe that he has any connection to that nursing home. We have not found any relative or anyone related to him or anyone that he even knows. So that's one of the mysteries that we are trying to figure out, why he chose this nursing home.
And if you would, can you please kind of connect the dots? What's the connection with the nearby Shell station?
The deputy on scene that was giving the deputy that had been shot medical care removed him from the area, the danger zone, to the Shell station where he called for EMS.
It seems like there were a lot of shell casing markers throughout that crime scene. Do you have an estimate as to how many shots were fired by the suspect?
Not at this time. So we have return fire from the deputies. We have fire from the suspect. So I don't have that exact number yet.
Sheriff Wells, were there any words exchanged between the suspect and the employees or the deputies or anyone at the scene?
I don't know if any words were exchanged between the suspect and the civilians, but no words were exchanged between the deputies and the suspect other than my deputies telling him to put his hands up.
Sheriff, were there two shooting scenes or how many shooting scenes?
There is basically, it's one shooting scene at the front of the building where he started to fire at the civilians, and then on the east side of the building where he engaged my deputies.
Sheriff Wells, it sounds like it was an off-duty deputy that was the first to respond. Can you talk about, what they were doing, their actions there? Because obviously they weren't probably prepared for that moment.
So he was on his way home, like I said, from an off-duty detail. He heard the call go out. He was monitoring the Bradenton PD's dispatch as well. So his only job, he knew, was to get to this building quickly. He knows that there has been a shooting there. He doesn't know at that point until he talks to the employees, exactly what happened. So as soon as he realizes that we have basically an active shooter that has fired shots in this building and now is in the area somewhere, him and the deputy that assisted him did their best to locate him, and they did.
Sheriff, if you would talk to us about this deputy, his background, his courageousness, and his dedication to the job, because every day we know you guys go out on the job is never the same.
Yeah, he's a warrior, like all of the men and women that work at the Manatee County Sheriff's Office who are faced with this type of danger more often than not. But they still come to work every day. They put on this uniform, and they're ready to protect. And that's what I want people to understand, is that we are blessed to have these men and women in law enforcement. They truly care about us. They truly care about making sure that our families are protected. And you don't know until you're involved in something like this, really at such a disadvantage that you are. You're at a disadvantage. we don't know where this suspect is. We're trying to find him. We know he has a gun, but they continue to search the way they've been trained to locate him and bring him, to place him under arrest. And they were prepared for that. But you can be as prepared as you think you are, but when a deputy's shot, that first priority, that first moment that you realize that your partner, your friend, your family has been shot, all focus is making sure that they're taken care of.
And one more time, the deputy's name, and could you tell me, have you had contact with him, his family? What's your first interaction?
Yeah, we're not going to release the deputy's name yet. We will. It's still under investigation. But I did get to talk to him and his girlfriend at the hospital. He's in great spirits. He's doing very well.
Is this deputy on administrative leave with the nature of an officer involved, a deputy involved shooting?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Both of the deputies will be placed on administrative leave pending the investigation.
Sheriff Wells, there's a lot of homes in that area. Was there any danger to residents, or were those homes put on any sort of lockdown in that immediate?
Yeah, we had deputies throughout all the neighborhoods, right? So we had it locked down. We never had a case where we had to go in and alert any of the homeowners. We had a pretty good idea from the canines the route that he had taken, and that was our focus. And we also had our watch unit up, and like I said, we had that area locked down.
Sheriff, if this deputy wasn't in the right time, in the right place, do you think the outcome would be different?
Say that again, please.
If the deputy wasn't responding as fast as he responded, do you think the outcome would be different for that facility?
I think that's very possible. I think that this man, for whatever reason, was looking to shoot someone. Why he was there and why he had this intent, I don't know. But he was working very hard to get inside of that building.
Sheriff, I'm looking at the side of that building when I'm out there. I'm trying to get a picture of what this was like, because there's literally shattered windows. So is he actively firing just randomly into the windows of this facility? Is that what was going on?
Yes, as he's trying to make entry. And that's when he stopped doing that once the deputies arrived. Once he knew that we were there, then his focus was on us.
Were there any injuries to those residents inside, or were they aware of what was going on?
No, they were aware because they heard the shots, but they were not injured. We're so thankful for that. But 3 calls to 911 came from inside that nursing home.
How many people reside there?
I think it's about 90. I think they have 90 patients inside that facility.
Sheriff, how long from that very first call up until the apprehension with the suspect?
So the first call came in at 3:25. We located the suspect at about 5:44. Right, so let's say about a little over 2 hours.
And now, can you talk about? It sounds like they tried hard to get into the facility, and he did not because of the successful procedures the facility has. Can you talk about the importance of the security and the lockdowns that nursing facility has?
Yeah, I just want to first of all just give thanks to that male employee who was able to confront this man knowing he had a gun, and then to be able to disengage and lock those doors. And we talk about this all the time with schools, and how important it is to have safety protocols, and how important it is to keep all those doors locked. And he had he had the training necessary, I would think, inside that facility. The protocol was in place. He knew what to do, and even though he had just been shot at, he was able to lock those doors. And by doing that, he protected those 90 residents.
Sheriff, we assume, or I would pray this is an isolated incident, but what other protocols are going to be in place tonight at that exact property? Are you guys going to be patrolling more? Is there communication with the owner of that property about what do we do next?
Yeah, this is still a very active investigation. We know there's damage to this facility, so we'll be in close contact with management and ownership to make sure that they have all the security coverage they need to fix this building and to secure it properly once again.
Was he trying to drive his car through the front sliding glass doors?
It appears that's what he was trying to do.
Sheriff Wells, I imagine you were probably alerted to this fairly soon. What was going on through your head during these 2 hours that this guy was being searched for?
I go through a lot of emotions. So in the beginning, it's just concern and worry over the condition of my deputy. Then once I realized that he was going to be okay, then there's joy and relief. And then from that point, I go right into what I would call redneck anger, where I am absolutely pissed off at what this scumbag has done. So then my focus is totally on doing what we can to locate him. Those are the emotions that Sheriff Wells went through early this morning.
What's your message for him?
I can't give you all the adjectives because you won't be able to hear the story. My message to him is that he should be thankful that we are an agency that trains properly and that doesn't treat people the same way that he treated us. That's the message. All right, we had kid gloves on him as we're taking him into custody, as he's whining and screaming like a little baby. But he didn't care about my deputies. He didn't care about their well-being. He didn't care about their family.
After your deputy was shot, what was the process? Did you guys take him out of the premises, and who put the tourniquet on?
Yeah, so we had, yes, sir. So we had one deputy that was right there with the deputy that was shot. He immediately got him out of the danger zone, placed a tourniquet on his arm to stop the bleeding, and eventually he just took him to the hospital himself.
Our suspect in the case, you said he's got a lengthy criminal history record, both here and I believe you said New York. Last interaction with him here, what kind of pattern does this guy have? Who is he?
He's a violent offender. He's violent. I'm sure there's some drugs involved, and I don't know what his daily life entails, but he's been prone to committing these violent acts throughout his adult life.
Were there drugs involved last night? Do you think he was under the influence? Is there any evidence of that so far?
I'm not sure. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know what caused him to act this way, but I don't care what he was on.
Sheriff, just searching for a little clarity on the timeline from when the deputy involved in the shooting happened to when the arrest happened. Was that immediate, or was there a lapse in time there as well?
No, well, as far as the call went out at 3:25, roughly. We apprehended him at 5:44. So during that entire time, we have a perimeter set up. We are searching for him. We have canines on the ground, and we are doing everything we can to locate him. So they're tracking, he's moving, we're moving, and we contained him in an area that made him have to stay in a certain location. He could not get out of the perimeter. When he tried, that's when the deputy spotted him. So he was trying to get out of that perimeter, deputy spotted him, and that's when we engaged and took him into custody.
How far that was from the facility?
About a quarter of a mile. Once again, I just want to thank the men and women of the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. I want to thank the Bradenton Police Department, especially for being there with us and making sure that our deputy was okay. And once again, Holmes Beach, Pinellas County K-9. Thank you. We've got a couple of dogs in training. They knew that. They came down to help out. And then our actual bloodhound is the one that really got hot on the track. I don't know if you've ever seen a bloodhound work, but it's something special. And basically, I think he saw the bloodhound coming close, and he decided to try to move, and the deputy was able to spot him and take him into custody. Anything else? All right, thank y'all.
Thank you.
We'll get you a mugshot and possibly video.